Okay, guys, section 10.5, and it says factoring the quadratic that's x squared plus bx plus c. Now, the big deal about that is that there's no number in front of the x squared. That means that there's a 1 in front of it, okay? And whenever we have a quadratic that has just a 1 in front of the x squared, it's a lot easier to factor. We'll learn how to factor the other kind, and we can do it. It just takes a little bit longer, okay? But today we're just going to work on quadratics that have nothing but 1 in front of the x squared, okay? Now, guys, I want to talk about factoring for just a second. Take the number 12. It factors into 2 and 6, okay? This is a factored form of 12, all right? If I said multiply it, you would do 2 times 6 equals 12, okay? But if I said factor it, you'd break it down and give me 2 times 6. Now, we've been multiplying binomials and getting trinomials, okay? But now what I want to do is break it down. I want to factor it into two things that multiply to give us the quadratic. Because, like we did in the last section, you can see when it's in factored form, it's a lot easier to solve it, okay, than using the quadratic formula. We don't have to use that big formula. So sometimes it can be a lot faster. So anyway, key ideas, it says in the past few sections we've been multiplying polynomials. In this lesson we want to factor it. All right, we're breaking it apart. That means we want to break the polynomial into things that multiply to give us the polynomial. For example, 12 equals 2 times 6. We just factor 12 into 2 and 6. X squared plus 8x plus 12 equals x plus 2 times x plus 6. Now we just factored this quadratic into two parts, x plus 2 and x plus 6. From yesterday's lesson, we know that if we can factor a polynomial, it's easy to solve it. Notice that the two numbers in the binomials, right, and this is the key, the two numbers in the binomials, plus 2 and plus 6, they add to give us the middle number. And they multiply to give us the last number. Okay? That's always the rule when there's nothing in front of the x squared. Okay? It's a little bit more complicated when there's a number in front of the x squared, and we'll get to that tomorrow. Okay? But when there's not, the two numbers add to give us the middle. Okay? Help me out. And then they multiply to give us the last number. All right? Be aware that some polynomials cannot be factored. They are said to be prime. We've heard that before, numbers that only factor into 1 in themselves. Okay, that's true of polynomials as well. Sometimes we can't factor them. Okay? All right. Good enough, guys. I think you understand where we're headed. Let's look at example number 1.